Good afternoon, judges. I'll start my speech in 3, 2, 1. Universities are supposed to be a stamp of approval for knowledge, but if money can buy this stamp everywhere and anywhere, anytime, it is no longer a symbol, rather it just becomes a drawing. First, I'd like to define that universities, higher education capable of producing their own research and mostly should be independent, and these research fundings can appear to be sponsors, money to find innovations, do breakthroughs, and publish papers. As in problematic organizations, organizations and donors would be people who are involved in scandals such as breaking the human rights violations, being corrupt, being environmentally unethical, and overall just being controversial. So the mechanism that we want to propose is that we would like to cherry pick and review and choose whoever can, and will have their funds accepted, and not just blindly taking anyone who has, especially prioritizing anyone who has the bigger numbers. And also, the urgency is, in the long run, it'll look really bad. Your university's reputation will be affected, which will be in my arguments. And this is not about if universities need funding, everyone does, but it's about if where they come from matters, and if we are allowed to just accept anyone regardless where the money came from, if it's dirty or clean money. So how likely this will go bad is that people will find whoever is backing up the research funds. People are quite woke about it. They can see who sponsored it, and then they can deem the research quite irrelevant, which is a hit to reputation. Brings me to and the vulnerable actors would of course be the universities, their reputations, and also the researchers themselves, because they are affiliated with the university. Now brings me to my first argument, is that first, this university will lose its academic integrity. What does it look like? Is that this donors will definitely fund research, and researchers will definitely have a pressure to appeal to these donors. They want to produce research that will definitely benefit these donors, and since they are the one funding all these research, they will have a say in them. And negative findings can also be suppressed. Researchers will feel pressured, and they'll no longer have the ultimate free will to speak and put out a very, very objective research paper. In the past, it has already happened before, where the tobacco companies, they fund the research for lung health, and if tobacco causes it or is related to it at all. And of course, the result, as we all know, is that for a while there was no correlation. It was written even actually that tobacco was healthy, and it really pushed back people's awareness about tobacco for a really, really long time, not until recently, where people started dying off one by one from tobacco and from lung diseases. Now in the present, if it were to still happen, especially maybe with, for example, vape companies, there's no research saying that vape is harmful in any other way at all. And then in the future, it will look like research will no longer just be for the sake of research, but it will who can suck up to the donors the most, who can produce the best results most for the donors. And in the long run, sure, the opposition might argue that, but we need all the funds. But here in the government side, we want integrity, since we're both talking for the long runs. Integrity is infinitely priceless, because reputation is something you build slowly, and once it is bought, and as you're caught being bought, there is no coming back from it. Which brings me to my second argument, that is reputation damage. Universities have a high trust. It is a symbol of it's different from schools. That's why our name is called Mahasiswa, not just Siswa. One mistake can really, really be ingrained in the people's minds for a long term. For example, maybe UGM and the certificate case of our president. Until now, it is still being brought upon by the people. They still remember it. It's not something that can easily be forgotten. So this really highlights how urgent having and not breaking the reputation to the people is. It can happen even from the little things individually, such as your researchers losing trust since they're covered and pressured not to say certain things that might be disadvantageous to their donors. And then next, to the community, when it leaks, that when the truth comes to light, it is going to affect your own people's trust to you. Just like the UGM alumni who are quite ashamed to ever be lulus from UGM, and also word spread, and now it affects society. So from an individual to community to societal level, it is all going to be affected. It's all a chain of events. Thirdly and lastly is moral responsibility. Universities are a step above normal schools. Future generations literally are made by you. You are the future, and your studies, if from the roots are already putting finances above integrity, you're setting yourself up for failure on a societal scale. First, your foundation for integrity, how this will look like is foundation for integrity will be non-existent, and many will, and then after it's published, let's say it's published, many will read, use, and even reference your research a lot, especially if you're coming from a big university. And then next, it'll chain on and on. Your paper, let's say best case scenario, your paper blows up, funding is good, that's right. It's all because of the funding, and it got a far reach. Then it's not a hyperbole that to say that your paper will be affecting a whole generation's awareness or societal awareness to the topic that you are researching. So overall, to link back, I've addressed how it will affect us in an individual, community, or even societal scale, how it has happened in the past and in its current status quo, it is still actively happening, and how it will look like in the future. And so bringing back to that stamp analogy is that a stamp will lose its meaning if anyone's money can essentially get it. So for the sake of truth, integrity, and trust of your community, if you want it to exist for the long run, universities must refuse funding from problematic organizations or donors. And that is why we are very, very proud to propose this motion. Thank you.